In a way, the Dhoni era sort of marks the distance between reporters and press.
Why is that?
They'll sing like, express myself, I want to express myself. What does it mean?
I've heard that quote on the field.
What does it mean?
It means I want to be relaxed in my mind and spirit so that I can just play perfectly well and express myself.
That is boring. How does it translate into a cricket?
That I won't allow the wicketkeeper to call for DRS. Because I don't trust him. But could you be like, hey, Saurabh, pass me that? Like, could you?
I see, I am very well behaved.
Yeah, no. Sorry.
It's in the air. It's a 6.
Welcome to a century of stories. Cricket brought to you by IDFC FIRST Bank, now recognized by Forbes among the world's best banks of 2025. And Sharda Ugra, fantastic journalist, who just told me about all the money she's made, and I'm not even kidding. Huge, and rightly so, one of the first voices in the business, and has covered the game for many, many years,
35.
knows a lot of facts. How many years?
35 plus.
35 years of covering the game, and I'm 53 years of watching the game. Although from my mother's stomach, I couldn't see properly, because it was black and white TVs and all that.
Too bad.
Producers actually smiled for the first time in 30 episodes. She's like, where did this guy come from? How are we going to get to the point? But I would like, for once the topic is something I really want to explore a little bit, because it's called the changing relationship between media and cricketers. Yes. Firstly, the relationship between media and cricketers, and then how it's sort of morphed or changed or evolved or declined, I don't know. We'll find out. But the person who can really answer this, being in the forefront, being in the media, and 2 or 3 generations of cricketers around her, is Sharda herself. So let's go straight to it.
I called up a couple of older journalists to find out. So one generation older than mine, and they said it was a completely different atmosphere, even compared to when I began.
Are we looking at like the Ayaz Memon generation?
Yes, because cricket was not the big thing that it is.
It just wasn't that visible as it
wasn't.
is now.
There was no television.
Yeah.
So therefore, what the reporters had to write was important to the players in the sense that they were able to tell the story. When people travelled on tour, like in this very famous tour of '89, when they went to Pakistan, India went to Pakistan.
Sachin's tour.
Sachin's
Waqar
tour.
Sachin
Yeah,
debut.
there was like a Sunday club that the reporters and the cricket team would meet.
They would eat together and
They
stuff
would eat
like
together. There would be a dress code that you will tie ties on your head and all kinds of crazy things.
Oh, a masti dress code.
Like masti dress code.
Ties on your head.
Moustache and whatever and all. Yeah, some crazy stuff. And there are pictures of that it's there. And it was very, very informal and very relaxed, because the players thought that they needed the press, as in the written press. And the written press was able to chat. And, there were things that happened on tour that didn't get told, kind of stories that were there. That was when it came from. You had an earlier generation that when you went to England, there were 2 or 3 people only that were traveling with the team. K.N. Prabhu, Dicky Ratnagar.
K.N. Prabhu, my God.
Yeah,
Dicky
yeah. So
Ratnagar.
all those
You're making
kind
me
of
feel
stories.
really nostalgic.
Yeah,
My tears might come out.
Yeah. So you had that. So it was that equation. And then sport is professionalizing in the 80s and the 90s when I joined. And I'm female, so I'm still a little bit this thing.
By the way,
removed.
were you amongst the first female the first?
The first. As far as I know, there's no other woman.
IDFC first fact.
Yeah,
first female journalist.
Yeah, sports journalist.
Sports journalist, yeah.
So, as far as I know, because there's no other woman around me in the press box. If there was another person, I would have heard. So, Chandra Naidu had done commentary and all that, I know. But like writing, whatever. And Midday, God bless them, gave me a job. So, anyway, you feel that you're a little bit far away. But the equation that you had with them, it grew very, very slowly, as say compared to it may have grown differently with the guys, but it was still there. You were able to. So Raju Kulkarni, and I know all the Bombay cricketers of that generation. So Raju Kulkarni,
should have played more for India.
Yes, of course.
Very fast.
Another story. That is another one. No? So he was talking. He said, what has happened to you? You used to be so quiet when I had first started working. Can you imagine? But that's true. I used to be very quiet.
Why would you have been quiet?
Because
you were quiet there.
Yeah.
Because they were
all guys.
Male club and...
No, I was very quiet because I didn't want to say something stupid. So I never asked questions in a press conference.
You didn't?
4.5 years before I asked a question in a press conference.
So what were you doing in the press conference?
I should sit and take notes. So that's why Raju Kulkarni sees me on TV talking all the time. He said, what has happened to you? I found it so funny. I said, no, but Raju, I was quiet
upset?
at that time. He was not.
You were so quiet. I like everybody quiet. Now why are you talking so much? Kaide, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. So I thought so I knew all those players, and they were very, very, as compared to, I would say, the male journalists, the players and the officials and all were very nice. They were very, very respectful. When they read your byline and said, Acha, something she knows how to write, like 1, 2, 3 paras, she can write, okay, fine. So that's the thing, and then it's grown, and as you grow older, and when you get into your 30s, you get so you had a very easy sort of a rapport. All journalists have their teams. Yeah, so you have a team, that is your team, from whom you will get best stories, best gossip.
A team means you're talking about Indian team, or you're talking about
Indian team,
players in the team?
No, like you'll always have a team that you feel is your team.
Okay.
You know, so that my team was this Ganguly's team from 2000 onwards.
Specific team you're talking
yeah,
about.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
That. So with
So
whom was the fight?
the Sharda Ugra team was the Ganguly period.
Yeah, the Ganguly set till about 2007, 2008.
Okay.
Yeah, until 2000. Yeah,
Till Dhoni period.
Till sort of say the Yuvraj, Harbhajan, those players started retiring.
Okay.
Mehra, all those guys started retiring.
So that decade then, full.
Pretty much that much of this thing. So it's a very relaxed thing, because there's certain trust there. There's a certain comfort level there as well. That's which you all have. You may not have it with an older generation of players, but you'll have it with that sort of bunch of. The moment the game has professionalized and changed, that whole equation has just completely gone out of the window. It's not there.
So when is the moment it's professionalized and changed? Is there a date?
You're looking at, I think IPL is the date that you're looking at.
Oh, so 2008.
2008 IPL you're looking at 2007.
That's true. It suddenly becomes a business.
It becomes a business. It becomes larger. In a way, IPL teams are more
professional in the country team.
That's
correct. They brought in everything. In fact, the country started copying them.
Yes.
Because they had all these different things.
And in Firasha Kotla, for example, after the
Arun Jaitley
IPL
Stadium.
team came, Arun Jaitley Stadium.
Bolo.
The quality of the toilets improved after the IPL.
Sorry.
Seriously. But it's true.
I know you didn't mean it as a funny thing, but
but it is. So the press box and all the toilets in Arun Jaitley Stadium, they were absolutely rubbish. The moment Delhi Daredevils took over, that time immediately.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
So they refurbished the thing
with
a franchise team, not with the domestic Delhi side.
Not at all. Because then that's the place where the corporate boxes would be. People would be coming there.
Of course.
So then
they cannot have.
They have to spruce it up, including what facilities were there for spectators, what kind of food is available, all the rest of it. So you could see that change taking place. And in a way, the Dhoni era sort of marks the distance between reporters and press.
Why is that?
Because Dhoni, I think in 2007, after the World Cup, it affected him in a way that with the one that we.
But Rahul was the
West
captain.
Indies. Yeah, but he did not. They was like, I think his parents were told that, how players' houses used to get stoned and whatever.
Okay.
So
The fans' backlash.
The fans' backlash
also hit him.
Yeah.
Because he lost to Bangladesh. And,
Yeah. And in a way, and then he saw the opposite of it happening when the big parade happened when they went back. So he realized that, look, this thing that's there of the media and the press, I don't really need it, and I will keep my distance. And he changed managerships as well. So he became much more detached from. He never gave an interview to anybody. I think that was his thing, or maybe he did to one or two people. I don't know. He would never speak openly to anybody. At a press conference, you could ask him a question. He'll tell you and answer fairly in a civil manner. And then everyone else followed. It couldn't be that you were seen as talking to him.
So we go back to the Ayaz Memon gang in all 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
They follow the team everywhere.
Yes.
They were accepted with the team. They would
Yes.
eat with the team. They could call them on first name basis.
Yes,
They would some of them would actually have dinners together and go out and all that.
Absolutely.
So that's one. Then your era, you saying your team.
It was still very, very informal. I mean, I didn't hang out with them or drink with them kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But it was informal to the sense that I could call up and check something or whatever it was.
But could you be like, hey, Saurabh, pass me that? Like, could you?
I am very well behaved.
Yeah, no.
So, but with Saurav, I could actually have a very, I can still do that, have a conversation of saying that, but why did you do that? But you're not answering the question. That kind of a thing you could do in a press
As in your body
conference.
language is very normal around these people. You don't treat them like gods.
Yeah.
Sachin?
Oh yeah, very, very. No problem. Very, very, very.
Rahul and Lakshman,
formal,
I'm sure.
Formal because it's. I'm very polite. I'm very formal.
Yeah.
I don't even call Sehwag Viru.
Yeah.
I'll say Virinder and I'll send him a message. I was very, very polite.
But you won't say Virinder Ji.
No.
So you won't overdo it.
Yeah,
it's okay, huh?
And this was in the early sort of.
Your point is that you were still friendly enough. Don't break the furniture to return it. But we were friendly enough.
And
no walls between the cricketers and the journalists.
Yeah. And they knew who to trust, or they felt every individual player had a journalist whom they trusted, and everyone didn't have to trust you. It was fine. It was fine.
Can you tell us your favorites?
No. I mean, seriously, I think now that I could message a player of this generation and say, of the generation I'm talking about, and say, listen, I want to check something. Kaise hai, call up. That kind of thing. Anybody. It's not a.
All these big names from the Ganguly era, you could call up.
I mean, my funny story is that I would never call Sachin for if I had to do this thing. I would send a fax.
Why?
Because that is how you do it. It's proper. Because I told you I haven't
You're
gone to
also
you.
making him feel more senior.
No.
Because he's like, मेरे पास phone है, मेरे पास 5 phone है, charge secretary है. Why is the
This
facts?
is now. This is now. This is when I was to sending him message. Now I can send him a message on text and whatever and all that politely. Polite always is polite. But I used to send fax to when I was in India today from 2000, and I used to send him a fax and get interview. My most amazing thing was I was doing a story on Lakshman and getting quotes from people, whatever. I said I must ask Tendulkar. He's his first captain. I called. They were in Australia at the time. I called him up. I said I want to talk to you about Lakshman. Of course. And I got quotes. And he was so happy to talk about him. So he was very, very good. No matter what. And at that time, I don't think kids who are in their teenagers will realize what a big star he was in a pre-social media age. In 2003 World Cup, the entire Indian press contingent was called to the Indian team hotel and told no notebooks, no dictaphones, no cameras, no mics. Leave everything outside. You have an hour to chat with the Indian team. And there was snacks and there was tea.
Like a party, like an informal.
It's just an informal get. Ask them what you want to ask. No quotes, no recording.
And then record in your head and take it back.
Record it in your head, but you can't make a story out of this. You want to come and meet, and everybody was there. Every single
free
person.
food.
Free food. Yeah, why will journalists?
Every journalist's dream. yeah.
Free food, chai, and this very, very good. And in Pakistan in 2004, similarly they had like a dinner. And at every table there was a player sitting and journalists could go and sit and chat with them.
At the same table and
chat and talk
like
and do
normal.
whatever.
Yeah.
It was just to break
Was it
the
also
ice.
with the other teams the same way? The Pakistani teams, their scribes, the Aussie teams, were they all closer to?
I think the Aussie teams may have the Aussie teams and the English team, because the deadlines were different, they would have a special press conference for their own journalists at that point in time. They would do that. I think there was certainly some level of informality that was there. Again, it changed with them, it changes with generation. So I remember at one point we used to say, Australian cricket team has a media manager. Why don't we have a media manager? It's the biggest mistake. Because the moment you had a media manager, there's a person to say, no, sorry.
Bad cop. It's the
bad cop.
You kept yourself a bad cop. There's a wall,
there's
buffer
a wall.
zone.
Correct. Then it's done. Then it's dead.
We were discussing India and post Dhoni,
Yeah.
perhaps the wall shut down. But what about the rest of the world? Were they also shutting down because the entire cricketing world became more?
It's much more. What happens at the IPL, you do get access to a lot more players. So for younger journalists, it's much better. Because a franchise is willing to.
They push the players
out. Yeah. So there was one afternoon in where was this? Delhi. I was in Delhi at the time. I was able to interview Vettori, Chris Gill, and Virat Kohli in the same within
RCB.
RCB within that amount of time. So it's great. And Andre Russell at one point in time. So there's that thing that happens in the IPL, but you don't know how schooled it is and how spontaneous it is and how natural the conversation.
They sort of coached.
I mean, they just get a bit wary. I think they just get a bit wary. They just get a little bit, they know what they have to say. They'll sing like, express myself. I want to express myself. What does it mean? Are you saying
I've heard that
poetry?
quote on the field.
Yeah, I know, but what does it mean?
It means I want to be relaxed in my mind and spirit so that I can just play perfectly well and express myself.
That is boring. Like, tell me what that translates into your cricket. That's my next question. How does it translate into your cricket?
That I won't allow the wicketkeeper to call for DRS. Because I don't trust him.
See, that's a good quote. I will say, okay, fine. That's you made a joke. You said something else. So you get.
It becomes like a Miss India competition where there's all rehearsed answers, and whatever your question is, it goes
and
back
it's not
to
like you're going to want to roast them or whatever. They know who wants to roast them, and they'll stay away from the people who want to roast them.
But having said that, from the PCs that I have seen, Rohit Sharma was very witty.
Yeah.
And it could be quite a lot of fun for you guys and for us when we get to hear
Garden
it.
Wale thing was the funniest thing I've done.
But he's just dry. He's that dry sense of humor, which is
that's
him.
true. No,
it's
that's
really
true.
him.
That's true.
I would love to keep a.
But
audio.
you would want to then go and have a separate interview with Rohit Sharma and talk about his life.
Yeah.
And now I don't think you'll be able to do that. Like you wouldn't be able to do that because it's whatever.
Too many people controlling the situation.
Yeah.
But what
why? Where is it going to come? Which paper is it going to come? Cover story, not cover story.
Don't they ask you what questions you're going to ask? Which is the first thing you shouldn't do.
No. No one's asked. Not happened to me.
Okay, so there'll be two controversies each cricketer has. They'll tell you clearly, please don't get into X. His relationship off the field, blah blah blah. His relationship with X player, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But that's all part of the deal also.
You want to know something or the other. Find. And the whole thing is, it's not that every cricketer has something nasty to say about someone. They might have something interesting to say.
Yeah.
One of my things I think of is Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, great, outstanding player for India. We don't know anything about him.
But he's very quiet also.
Yeah, but why has no? I'm sure if it's come in Hindi paper, I've not read. But I want to know more about his life. What happened? Where did he start? What did he do? What was his experience? Kuch to, and not a press conference. That kind of this thing. So I always say this, that eventually, people will remember you. Now, of course, there's visual and this thing, but words will also stand
But
for
also
something.
now, isn't it, Shraddha, half the problem is that they have the weight. There's a two-way program going on,
Social
right?
media.
Because of social media.
Yes, yes.
So they can talk
but,
to
yeah, but do
their
you want to
fans.
be remembered for your Instagram posts, or do you want to be remembered in some fantastic words?
Yeah, but you and me were born a little earlier, so
Yeah.
our thinking is a little different. That people just born into this Instagram phase.
No, please do Instagram. I'm not saying don't do. So, in...
No, I'm saying the cricketers are born into that. So
Of
that's
course,
their
of course,
communication
of
technique.
course, absolutely,
They're not going to...
But if someone is able to have a conversation with you, they'll say, maybe I don't want... they may find us boring. No one's saying no. But the point is that maybe we will say something or write something about you that will become... You remember that great quote that is there in the report on India's first test match where they said Amar Singh came off the wicket like the crack of doom. So that's that first when India plays first in 1932. I've never forgot the crack, like he came off the wicket like the crack of doom. Now those are words that you'll never be able to forget. So in Southampton, in that Rose Bowl or whatever that ground is called, it keeps changing.
EGS Bowl, Rose
whatever,
Bowl, you name it and pay £200.
Correct, exactly. So they have, about their great cricketers, they've got two lines written from journalists over there. So and so and Shane won, and it's so
With
lovely
the journalist's
to read.
quote there?
Yeah,
Like
about that player.
Neville Cardis.
About
so-and-so.
that player, yeah. So and so on so and so. And I thought it's so fabulous. And I think our players, their performances are incredible. They are incredible. You want words. You don't want... So everyone's saying commentary is great and they say things and all. Words are words, yeah. Words are words.
A very interesting story. Jack Fingleton, who played for the Bradman's
Australians.
1948
Yeah.
Invincibles, wrote a book on Bradman, and they never liked each other.
Yeah.
They never got along. But he
Yeah.
wrote a lovely book on him called Brightly Fades the Dawn.
Yes, yes.
Okay, which is basically more or less a tribute in most parts.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that sometimes you need that for the legacy and legend to grow,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
I
yes.
understand that
Correct.
it'll also
Correct.
social
well
network
said.
will play
well
a
said.
role.
Yeah. You need it for their legacy and legend to grow.
So that someone like
because-
me is reading it 5 generations later
Correct.
and understanding the
I mean, you
Australian...
and I will never see Bradman or whatever.
So we have to, it's all there from what you
from what
a
you read.
world opens up because of Jack Fingleton, ex-cricketer but journalist, a bit like Sanjay Manjrekar in that
Yes,
sense.
yes.
Both hats.
Correct. And you want, and of course there'll be television recordings and whatever, but the sense of the person and what they meant to that time is completely different.
No, all the intangibles that you're talking about, which you would ask the cricketer,
Yes.
that comes out in a book where the guy is talking
So
about...
like the most fun thing, I asked something about Tendulkar about something or the other. I said, how much does your ego come into the batting? At one point, I did. He gave me a couple of really, really nice interviews. And he said, yeah, it's a factor. And he said, I hate losing. The only people I like, I can bear losing to is my children. So nobody. And he'll not say that in a press conference saying, I hate losing. But it's just a thing.
No, I think this is a famous story about him that even when he plays table tennis and all that, which is the less skill games that he's less skill, but he's goes for the throat.
I mean, Yuvraj Singh in the cancer story that I was telling you, he wanted to beat people in PlayStation. It's that thing. And he used to play TT with them. He used to vomit in the middle of things. He'll go on, he'll vomit, he'll come back, he'll continue
But he
playing.
played like it's a test match. He played like full gusto.
So, I mean, Ashish Nehra, for example, he's great to talk to. He's most fun to talk to.
He's very funny.
Very funny. I'm sure there are personalities like that in the team right now, but you'll never know because they are hidden behind their social media.
Rishabh
and their
appears to be
masks
that. He appears to be a little extroverted.
And
Has a
quite
comment
fun
non-stop. If they just keep the
non-stop
microphone
talking.
on.
Non-stop talking.
No, pretty
and
witty.
seems like
There's some
fun.
funny moments in every match.
And it's nice that you're able to get a cricketer to talk to another cricketer on television. Like Pujara will talk to somebody, so they will respond better. But you feel a bit bad that you're not, the written word is not getting that little bit of...
This generation of cricketers cannot have the relationship with journalists that we hark back to 50s, 60s, 70s and 90s.
Even and 2000s.
And up to your generation.
No, they can't.
That's
No,
not
they
going to
can't.
happen.
I mean, there will be, say, some
Like I know Ayaz and Ravi Shastri have a nice relationship, for example.
Exactly. And some of the, like the reporters, the younger ones, in a small town, there's some cricketer that you've talked to, so that will be your guy through his whole career. But it's just one person. It's just one person or whatever. There'll be some people who cultivate these younger people. But it's not this thing. Say, I'm not, say if I'm coming from, I'm going to say Calcutta. If I'm coming from Vijayawada as a reporter.
The connect.
The connect. And I want to speak to someone who comes from Saurashtra or whatever. How do I build that, So say, for example, Pujara was good in the sense that Pujara, even though he belonged to that generation, you could talk to him, you could chat with him, you could, find out a few things or whatever, but not... It'll be maybe he's friendliest with reporters from his own hometown in that sense. But that whole opening
But that's
up in a
everybody,
way,
you know.
Yeah, of course.
Degrees of connection and all that. It's possible that you bond more.
Of course, without a doubt.
Plus you can carry home stuff for the other person's family.
Always.
Yeah.
So what Sanjay Manjrekar said very interestingly is like what's happened in cricket now has been a Bollywoodization. So it's like they become like Bollywood sort of stars,
Yeah.
that they have this
With the entourage.
posse and the entourage and this whole.
The entourage kills it because there's no point.
Yeah.
You can't just get to the person.
Yeah.
They're just passing
Yeah.
you. The
Correct.
VVS Lakshman
Correct.
looking out of the window and shouting your name. That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
They're gonna-
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
You won't see them. They live in a...
I'll tell you another crazy thing. At one point in time, I had a cycle accident. I was on a bicycle cycling for something and I passed out on the bicycle and I had 9 stitches in my head.
You passed out while on the cycle.
Yeah, I didn't. Passed out. It's not like somebody hit me. I passed out in Delhi. Just passed out. Like had a.
Oh, in Delhi because of the air.
No, blood. This was before that. This was way before. Blood sugar drop on her. Just passed out, and I was in hospital and whatever, and that because of these stitches and everything, I got calls from, and I had fixed up to speak to ex people. I said, okay, send them a message. I'll call you this. I'll call you this. And Sehwag called back to my number, and my dad picked up the phone, and it said Viru on my phone. Even though I used to call him Virinder, it said Viru on the phone. And then he said, I wanted to speak. What happened? He said, no, she's not. She's had this thing. She's in the hospital. He said, no, let me know if you need anything. And I'm saying this, sir. I'm not just saying it out as this thing. And he told my dad, he said, let me know if there's anything I can do. I'll be happy to help. I'm so and so. I'm not saying it out of formality. He didn't know. He said, I'm not saying it.
Some guy called Viru is calling you in
in
Delhi.
Delhi,
Hey, Viru kaun hai? Koi banda Viru. Pata nahi kaun hai. Hey, Viru, abhi nahi. She's not well. I told you again. She's not well.
So I was in ICU. So
You're in ICU?
For one night or something like that. No, ICU. No, I can't remember. Yeah.
I can't remember.
I can't remember. I was like doctor for 45 minutes.
Yeah,
So this thing happened and he called up. He said, Uncle, I'm not just saying this because of what of this. I'm saying it because if you need any help.
Such may I will
Such
help.
may I
Yeah,
will help.
yeah.
Very sweet. This happens and I come out of hospital. I'm there now. I get a call from Tendulkar.
Oh, nice.
Who talks to me. I'm thinking,
Word has got around and they actually look.
I mean, someone's told him, however word has got around.
Called to check up.
And he called to see how you're doing. And he had a very sweet conversation. So, Pradeep Magazine, in his latest book, Not Just Cricket, he talks about this whole thing about players. And he got a ticket for Tendulkar's last test match from Tendulkar. He called him up and said, I want...
2013 Wankhede
Yeah,
Stadium,
he got
West
it.
Indies.
I mean, and you're saying, this is not any era cricketer. This is like the biggest
The
cricketer.
greatest name of his generation, yeah. IDFC First Fact. In 1983, when Navjot Singh Sidhu failed to make an impression in his debut test series, noted journalist Rajan Bala dubbed him the strokeless wonder in one of the columns. 4 years later, when Sidhu made a comeback to the Indian side and made 4 half-centuries in his first 4 ODI innings, the same journalist, Rajan Bala, wrote an article about him titled From a Strokeless Wonder to a Palm Grove Hitter. And just for the record, Navjot Singh Sidhu kept that article for 4 years in his room and looked at it every day. And it motivated him to become one of the biggest hitters of a cricket ball in that generation.
Ashwin did those incredibly cute videos after the 2021 series about, what are they called? Kutti Stories. He did the Kutti Stories
doing
videos.
that, huh?
Yeah, so Kutti Stories did when we won that series, that mad series in Australia.
Brisbane,
we won.
Gabba Fortress,
all that. So, which is great and everyone was there and you got everything out of that series you could hear from Ashwin's sort of point of view. But even when things are going bad, a cricketer is not going to tell you, what is happening. It's the reporter's job to find out or to write or whatever. So we have a role to play.
When you have, say, issues between Kapil and Sunny or Imran and Javed, it's you guys who've leaked it, honestly. We wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
It comes out because of the people around them.
And then their books.
Their books, their first confession or whatever. But I mean, that's all part of the legend, right? When you look back at it, all that helps the whole legacy grow forward.
And it's the stories that make, the stories that make So you're thinking that, that it's that. And now Gill is the captain and there'll be others and there'll be others and there'll be others. But what are you going to leave behind other than saying great cricketer so many runs? People are not their statistics. People are what they meant to their time, what it was, all those things.
So where do we go from here, Shraddha, on a more serious note? Because I never want to be that uncle, apna zamana. We don't want to be
Even
that.
we don't want to be that.
So it's sort of changed. Communication has changed. It's going. They are going to communicate themselves, etc. What happens to journalists, the sports journalists, the media?
Like I said, I really feel bad for the younger journalists. I mean, they're doing great stories. They're finding their own way to do stories. Data stuff they're doing and all. But the people are the one who writes the crack of doom reporters sitting there and saying, "Yaar, what is this?"
What happens to the Indian journalists in the squad now who accompany the squad?
They're saying it's not as much fun.
No, but do they get invited to anything?
No chance. You might get invited to like a sponsors, like a grand event or whatever, but no way you're going to have dinner with all of them.
In between the test matches also, they're not called by the team.
During Kohli's captaincy, we all were called. What was it? It was just before. We were going to win the test match in Gaul in 2015. We got turned around. Dinesh Chandimal finished us off. We lost the test. Before the second test started Ravi Shastri was the coach at the time. Kohli was the captain. Before the second test started, or after we had equaled the series, a lot of a big bunch of the journalists that were there, the older journalists, senior, I was included, we were asked to come and just have chai and coffee and chit chat with Rohit and with Kohli and Ravi Shastri for a while, which was fine. It was nice. And then I don't know if that practice continues anymore. Because you're at least able to have an equation and talk and ask some questions that you maybe say, okay, is it this, is it that? Whatever fiction or non-fiction they tell you, at least they're sitting in front of you and answering a question. And it's not like a forced.
Would you suddenly become part of a camp? Like you'd be friends with 3 cricketers in the 11 and then
Actually,
so anti the other 3?
No, for me it's fine because I was always outsider. I was always like, as a female, I was always on the outside of this whole inner circle of whatever. And so I didn't have that. But there definitely was Camp Budgie used to go on. But there was a point in time when the Indian team just turned around, about 4 or 5 of them. There was this story that was filed which said that there was a split in the Indian camp. And one of the people that was quoted in that story was the State Bank manager of that branch of that place that they were in.
Oh my God.
I'm not joking. And then all the players got together and said, okay, you have said in your story, they caught hold of the journalists, in your story you said that one senior player said this to you. We are all here. Who told you this? And the guy got stuck. So that also tells you.
So it was a lie?
Of course. It was some fiction that was
You
invented.
journalists tell lies?
Yeah, so this was the camp sort of stuff. So there was a lot of that nonsense used to also happen. But it's not that if you had a decent rapport with them, it wasn't too bad. It was good.
How
fun.
are your relations both before and now with the foreign players?
I mean, they don't know you. So
Can you ask questions? Can you go and do interviews?
If you want to, you can sort of put it.
Touring?
Yeah, if you're touring, you could.
Can you go to Ben Stokes and how would you get his interview?
Okay, now if I want to do an interview with Ben Stokes, I want to know who will publish it. I'd probably ask 3 months before the tour that I am coming for this tour.
Okay.
And you'll do it in a much more formal way. That would it be possible? And then that's how you'll go about it.
So you'll get a deal with some English newspaper
or an Indian
media.
newspaper with saying we want to do, or say for example, just a fictitious story. Yeah, that there's this Indian magazine that wants to put Ben Stokes on the cover. I'm the person who's coming to do the story. When can it be done? So then his people will talk to the magazine people, and then I will be given the time and I will go. So that still happens with overseas players. Maybe it happens with Indian players as well.
That's by appointment.
That's by appointment. Yeah. A lot of the time, say for example, Man's World or GQ or Esquire will do a cover story with an Indian cricketer in really nice clothes, looking very nice, and there'll be a story interview done. But that will also have been done it'll be organized.
I brought that up slightly because Shubman Gill, before the Edgbaston test, there's this English journalist whose name I don't know, who reminded him at the PC before that India's never won and lost a lot of them at Edgbaston. And then after he won, he made this famous comment. Where's my favorite journalist? Where's my favorite journalist? So I was just trying to say.
Yeah, correct. That happens.
There's a little more freedom when you're from the other country. You can talk to each other. I know this is a little sarcastic, but it was quite cute. It wasn't.
It was sweet.
Bitter in any way.
It wasn't mean in any way.
No, it wasn't. And I think that guy also appreciated it, and then wrote in his byline the next day about heaping praise on Shubman Gill from start to finish, as a gentleman, as a leader, and as a batsman.
It was a lovely victory. I mean, it was a superb match. I'm completely like the match that usually why Test cricket is so great is that match where everything looked wrong and then everything turned out right.
Also, his captaincy was being questioned, but that's a story we'll come to some other time. But before wrapping up, so where do we go from here in terms of media relations?
I think it'll just have to come to say it depends. I mean,
But will I get the inside information that you would be able to give me about the Ganguly era? Little inside stories, squibbles, problems, issues, injury, the actual injury, what really happened, why was he dropped?
That will be hard to get when I'll tell you, when stuff is going bad. So when do teams leak? Teams leak when things are going very bad.
Yeah.
When there's
infighting.
And there's infighting. They always leak. If teams are no matter whether they win or lose, if teams are tight, things never leak. No matter how friendly you can be, even with the players or have conversations or whatever it is. You want, say, a captain to create a different sort of an atmosphere around talk. It has to be led by the captain. Who say, look, I think it's okay for us to do this. But that captain doesn't have to have a manager sitting on his ear and say, you shouldn't. This is not the way to do it. It's bad for your brand. There's no point. I mean, there's a point at which a journalist is asked, but is this going to be a cover story? And you're saying, boss, I'm writing for my magazine. I've suggested your interview. And no, I'm not saying for me now. I'm saying now. He said, how can you demand a cover story of a magazine or a publication or a whatever, But yeah, that's what they do. So you have to just reach somebody who's a little bit more relaxed and mature about it and says, "Bhai, meri legacy ke liye, I feel I should do a little bit more."
I mean, it's the way it is. And they're always going to think of their brand.
Yeah.
Because they have only so many
Yeah.
years to make money.
Yes.
And in that sense. So
Yeah.
it's all brand is important in the long
Yeah.
perspective of the
I
whole
think
thing.
cricketers did make as much money. I think cricketers could buy all of us out sitting in this room.
Yeah.
Maybe the building. But they did make money. But brand and legacy are two different things. And it's that kind of thing that you don't want it to go. Because overseas, you're able to write more about a player. You're able to get more sort of insights into their life and what goes on because of the fact that there's more of a free-flowing exchange of things that is.
Are you saying, not to be racist, but are you saying that it's easier to talk to foreign players and foreign players are more
No.
forthcoming?
Journalists in, say, England, Australia, even though it is
They have
controlled,
access, better access.
they have better access. They have better access. And better access is not just for, you're not sucking up to them. You just want to tell their stories.
Yeah, but again, it all boils down to the captain and the leadership group, right? How far they're willing to go.
Yeah.
And right at the moment, it's still closed.
So Rahane was also relaxed, in that sense, it was much more. I mean, for them being in.
So when Rahane, the few tests he captained, it was easier to.
It was, I think maybe it was. Or maybe that's just because Rahane is from Mumbai and you can.
Or you play the Mumbai card.
Yeah, I play the Mumbai
card. That kind of thing.
I play the Mumbai card.
So what? No, I mean, I suppose you play whatever you just mentioned also that when you come to the same locality, there's always connections you build on that. And that's fine. What about Gill? Now, this new era?
Very exciting.
Yeah.
And, it just looks, so someone said a very interesting thing about Gill. He said, please see, non-bearded, non-tattooed. Apparently there are tattoos, but we can't see.
I didn't think of that. Yeah. He's broken from the mold.
Broken from the mold.
And who's done an ad with him?
Oh, well done, Cyrus. Well done. On what?
I don't think he even knew my name.
Yeah. Everybody
I was
knows
the
you.
waiter.
Everybody knows you.
Serving
Really.
them.
Everybody knows you. Yeah.
He was very polite and it just seems so polished
again,
now.
looks like an older generation player, but plays incredible 2020 cricket as well.
Never, no muscle involved, no pushing, and it's just very stylish.
Yeah, very stylish, very
Jaisima like
and the prince and all of that stuff.
Exactly that. Yeah. Favorite cricketer to interview? I have a horrible question to ask you.
I know what, yeah.
But whatever comes to your mind, okay, give me 3-4.
Oh, all those guys.
That generation.
Yeah, all of them.
And from the other side, the same generation, the other teams?
Hussain gave me a very good interview.
Nasir Hussain?
Brilliant interview he gave me.
While playing cricket?
Ago. No, he was a commentator.
Now he's a fantastic personality. We were just discussing how before he was the most Kadus guy ever.
Yeah. Viv Richards, when I was very young, I got an interview with Richards. That only was a big
when he was king.
When he was king. Kapil Dev gave me an interview in which he said nothing, and then he asked, and this was again, I was in midday, I was very young, I was in my 20s.
But Kapil is
he was, but
speaker.
he said nothing in the interview. So, or I was so stupid. So next day he said, did they publish? This was in Goa, one day series against Sri Lanka, and he said, did they publish? I said, no, but you said nothing in your interview. Can you imagine?
What do you mean by nothing? He answered.
Yeah, but it was very boring, and I had the stupid arrogance to talk to him and say, you said nothing in the interview because they didn't publish the interview.
And then what
he
did
said,
he say?
Aisa kaise? I said, they didn't publish now, what to do?
Did you get another one ever?
I must. No, I don't think I did actually. Yeah, I don't think I did.
Ravi Shastri?
Oh, brilliant. Great fun to talk to.
Yeah.
Great fun. And
he's still talking, you've left.
And yeah. And in his zamana, he was a rebel like you could not imagine.
Yeah.
Great fun. Superb guy.
He's an Australian. Australian Indian skin. Yeah.
But stop saying this as if Indians are not have their own personality.
No, very
Virat Kohli is an
outdoorsy guy.
Yeah. Indians are living not outdoorsy.
I'm a West Indian skin.
Acha, ye kab se? Everyone is laughing again in the background.
Give me the perfume ball, man. Heat him in the throat, man. Make him cry, man.
All of them post-retirement become angels.
That's true.
Angels.
They must be missing the limelight a little bit also, no? Oh, what a batsman. I don't know, now our podcast is just us old people nostalgia. Thinking
Stop
of the
it,
70s.
what is this?
Apna zamana, exactly what he said we wouldn't do. We're doing exactly that.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you guys know, but you can make money on your money by just having an IDFC FIRST Bank savings account. There are literally zero charges on all the savings accounts, services, and you can make much more interest per annum by just keeping money in your savings account, which gets credited monthly. So before next week's episode, check out the IDFC FIRST Bank website and get more details. So, do you ever think from the other point of view, the other side of it, the other perspective you like, which is that there is no privacy now, because everything, if you're a superstar like Virat Kohli, everything you do is monitored, looked at
For sure.
from different angles, and they read meaning into nothing, and then clickbait it, put anything out
So
there.
that's because you have put yourself on social media, right? You have put yourself out there to be this brand and this product and do
No,
whatever.
but
So it
hence
comes
they
from
become
there.
defensive now with the interviews.
I
They're
understand
worried.
that. Yeah, for sure. But I think whoever your management is needs to be a little bit more selective. And we understand privacy, and you would understand as a reporter what
No, but
is
they,
and
they don't want
not
their
to be
kids being
written about.
photographed. They don't want their wives
Yeah,
being
but we are
photographed.
not
Their
getting
parents,
pictures. Writers don't take photographs of children.
I know that, but I'm saying
I know,
that
but
this
media at
paranoid
large.
thinking starts happening because everybody's always on their case.
Possible. But there's also that you are able to then select and sift out what you want to talk to. So I'm just saying, think about it in a more measured manner.
Or wait 10 years after retirement, then they'll come to you.
Possible.
Let's move on to women's cricket for a second
Yeah.
because women's cricket has galloped along in the last few
Yes.
years. Diana Idalji time and all that,
Yes,
perhaps really
yes.
struggling.
Yes.
And then you come to the last 7-8 years, you've got, the Premier Leagues, you've got all the different countries. And at least white ball cricket has really grown.
Women's cricket has been incredible, and the kind of change that you have seen, it's literally skyrocketed from say 2017 at the Indian levels from 2017
But
onwards.
we
After
pushed
our-
it everywhere thanks to us in a sense.
Absolutely, and the amount of talent that's available is incredible. That's there in the women's game, and of course, it's much easier to sort of chat with the women cricketers, and there's a little bit more access. It's almost like there's a few years behind that stage
Ooh,
of development.
What a great point.
Of
So you can talk with them
I mean,
and get
you
one-on-ones and they're a
can,
little more candid.
You could a little more.
Will
a
they
little
include you
more.
if you were touring with them?
100%. I don't
Yeah.
have a single sort of
You'll be
doubt
sitting
about
with
that.
Harmanpreet and Smriti and
chat.
Jemima.
I mean,
and
I see.
having
I'm always
chai.
respectful. I could have
Yeah,
chai, but I
yeah.
would be respectful. Not faxes, but yeah.
Yeah. That's
So
a different generation.
So it's just that you'll be able to have that sort of exchange and conversation with them if you're traveling, because it's not the men's team, it's not the alpha males, it's not that whole.
If the game blows up,
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
you-
I mean, some
you'll
World
only be able
Cups
to
if they
talk to
win.
us here.
Yeah. Some World Cups if you win, you don't know how it will go, which
Hmm.
is healthy in a way. In a way, it's good. It's more sort of mileage and more prominence to the women's game. And in another way, they have to sort of sort it out and see what they want to talk about, how much they want to
But
share.
you
I think sharing is very important for every athlete to be able to share what they can do about their thing. I always say that.
But at least they
it's a
can talk about the
sharing thing.
game. I don't know why that's
About
a
the
problem.
game, about the
Yeah.
game, absolutely, absolutely,
But what's
about
your
that.
prediction on women's cricket? Can it grow a lot from here?
Oh, absolutely. There is no doubt that the amount of talent that there is in the game, that we are capable of winning everything that's there to win. I mean, they're just you have to streamline a couple of things and you'll be on your way. Just make sure, just be a little bit more alert and responsive to what they need. And
Both the women's Premier League as well as
yes.
international fixtures.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Both of them, without a doubt.
Before we sign off, a quick warning from IDFC FIRST Bank about ATM frauds. Now, apparently, there's a device that can copy debit card details once inserted in the slot, and the PIN can also be captured through this device. So please be safe, be aware of your surroundings. When you enter that ATM, have a quick look at the machine to check if you see any strange device connected to the machine. Oh, and as a general practice, whenever you use an ATM, do not leave till the screen says transaction complete. Thank you, and thank you.